It was my daughter's birthday the other day. It's my birthday today. So that means that I had to clean up my game room. And I figured while it was cleaned up, because it probably won't last very long, I would show you guys all my stuff. Well, not all my stuff, but the majority of my stuff. The stuff that I have out on display anyway. Now, you guys are probably familiar with this wall that sits behind me. And then some of you may have even watched the video where I built that shelf as an instructional kind of thing. Yeah, I planned on taking that down, but then it ended up staying. I was too lazy to take it down, and then I just shoved stuff on it when I was cleaning. And yeah, who knows how long it'll be there now. Amazing how temporary structures end up becoming permanent out of sheer laziness. So yeah, there you go. Those are games. And this is the view that I normally have when I'm, good God, that screen's bright, when I'm sitting behind my desk recording videos or doing other things. That sounded wrong. Anyway, here I have one of those fancy little cheap plastic drawer chests where people store stuff, and mine, dang it, is so chock full of games and accessories that I can't even get the doors open without tipping it over. That was done sort of out of necessity because I was trying to hide everything. Matter of fact, I will show you a couple of other hiding places for my junk while I do this. Santar, the Christmas alien. My wife is constantly trying to get rid of that. I'm currently uploading a video. And let's see here. My stuff. I guess we'll go around the room. What would this be? Counterclockwise? Got a dartboard. I'm no good at darts, but it's fun. There's a dartboard for my kids, and there's a chair that I got when I moved into my first apartment that I managed to hold on to. This is my main machine that will never be done. I'm convinced now that this is going to be a project that I work on until I'm like 95 years old. But yeah, Magic Quarter Arcade. For those of you that haven't watched my old videos, that marquee there was actually designed by my son when he was 6 years old. He is now 10, or almost 10, so that'll give you an idea how long I've been working on this stupid thing. I didn't actually have the cabinet until like 6 months ago, but yeah, it's been in my mind for the last 4.5 years. Never gonna be done. Let's see here. There's a ping pong table, and it's covered with stuff. I figured while I was doing this, I may as well show you some other stuff for those of you that might be interested. I love ping pong. My son loves ping pong. My friends love ping pong. Ping pong is fun. Saying ping pong is fun. Table tennis, whatever. Laserdisc. Let's see here. Behind this canvas drop cloth here is where I hide all my junk. There are numerous old computers that I used to have networked together, boxes and boxes of video games and extra systems that I need to sell off or trade off or whatever. Just tons of stuff. And then of course I threw a couple of things on the pile the other day when I was cleaning up for the party. So there's another one of my hiding spaces. Come around the corner here. Ignore that light up there. I have to shine it there. You can't see anything. There's Slave 1 and a couple of my board games. Ripley's Believe It or Not, Mad Magazine, Stratego Hangman Clue, and Balderdash. An old stereo. Air hockey is something else that my son and I both enjoy. So I have an air hockey table. My mother-in-law actually bought that for me out of the blue. Surprised me. Shoots Away. That's the game that I picked up the other day for a couple bucks. Cool little thing. There are some Star Wars Micro Machine toys that my brother gave me for my birthday last year. And this thing here is really cool, if you guys haven't seen this before. G.I. Joe Cobra Battle Game. Now, essentially you have these two bases. One is G.I. Joe, one is Cobra, and you can launch these foam missiles with rubber tips at one another, and they shoot up to, well, actually probably further than 20 feet if you use the right rubber bands. But as you can see there, the missiles, if they hit certain parts of the base, it explodes. And the person who explodes all of the parts on the other base first wins. Awesome game. Had that when I was a kid. Love it. Up here, I've got various fantasy and sci-fi games. I have, if you look up top there, Isaac Asimov's Robots VCR mystery game was given to me by Classic Game Hunter. And actually, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, Ruthless People and Air America over there were also given to me by Classic Game Hunter. Very cool guy. Check out his channel. How to Host a Mystery is a Star Trek mystery game, obviously, given to me by my little brother. Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, Battlestar Galactica, which was just on a pickup the other day, Star Trek The Next Generation, Game of the Galaxies. I haven't even opened that one yet, it's still sealed. Star Trek The Game, which is a Star Trek trivia game, and it is hard as nails, man. I've played that a few times. One time I played it with my cousin and my little brother and another friend. The three of us were all, like, consider ourselves Star Trek experts. My cousin doesn't know anything about Star Trek. Of course, he's the one that won. That's how hard that game is. Star Wars Galactic Battle, which is essentially Battleship with Star Wars sounds. Very cool. The Omega Virus, which is one of the best board games ever made. And I've said several times that I'm going to make a gameplay video of it. I haven't done it yet, but I swear to you one day I will. I just need to get a few people together to play it with me. And I'll shoot a video so you guys can see what it looks like. In between here, I've got some Advanced Dungeons & Dragons books, the essentials. Yeah, I'm that kind of nerd. I've also got a couple board games here. They're called, let's see if I can get you to read it, bookcase games. I guess they're fairly rare. I have Richthofen's War and Panzer Blitz. They're strategy type games. Up top there is a G.I. Joe tank. We got there Doorway to Horror is another VCR mystery game. Risk, Lord of the Rings Risk rather. Key to the Kingdom, which I just picked up the other day. Cloak and Dagger is actually a board game based on the 80s movie Cloak and Dagger. Shadow Lord and Tower of the Wizard King, which is another really cool game. It just takes for flipping ever to set it up. I still haven't played that game. My little brother started to set it up here a few weeks ago, and somewhere in the hour that he took to set it up, everybody lost interest, and he just stuffed it back in the box. I will play it one day, though. Let's see here. Skip that stuff for the time being. We'll come over this way. And this is a shelf that I built here, last week when I was starting to clean up, just so I had room to put more stuff. And let's see. Up here we've got a couple of old pinball games. There is an electronic pinball game called Raise the Devil. Behind that is the Atomic Arcade pinball game that I had in a pickup video a little while ago. I did eventually get it working. It is a really cool little system. And there you probably can't even really see, but it's a Tiger handheld pinball game. Very fun. I was surprised how much fun it was. I've got some tabletop arcades, and on top of the Frogger one, I've got a Frogger handheld that I just got the other day. This, you'll notice, is a little different. This is a Bandai tabletop arcade version of Galaxian. Make sure my finger's not going over top of the microphone here. Let's see here. That is a picture I just jammed in there to fill in some space. There is a Pac-Man puzzle game, a Pac-Man card game, and a Q*bert board game that you would have seen on a pickup video here a couple weeks ago. And I'm fighting a sneeze right now, so if I stop talking, that's why. There is my open videoplexer, and up there is some more stuff that Classic Game Hunter gave me. Cannot stress how cool of a guy he is. And then just various boxed controllers. How am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to do this rather quickly. I'm just going to kind of show you this stuff. I'm not going to get into any real detail with the stuff. My box systems, most of them are up top there, and they are, about 75% of them have systems in them. I'll let you know if they don't. But Mattel Intellivision, Model 1 Channel F, RCA Studio 2 is not in the box, it's on the shelf down here. The Bally Arcade, let's see here, the Bally Astrocade Arcade is actually in the box. There's a sealed videoplexer, and I'll go through my Pong systems here real quick. It's an APF something or other, don't remember. It's essentially a four-person Pong game. And behind there is the Bullseye Wonder Wizard, or the Wonder Wizard Bullseye, however you want to say it. Sears Telegame Super Pong 4. And you'll see there the Odyssey 400 that the Game Man Dan gave me. Thank you, the Game Man Dan. Odyssey 500 that I picked up at a flea market last year, I believe. That is a boxed and complete Sony PlayStation 2. The thing is nearly new. There is a boxed and complete PS1 combo with the LCD screen, and a boxed and complete Sony PlayStation. Sega Saturn Model 2. Behind there is an Odyssey 2. That one is on the shelf over there. It's not actually in the box. Same with the Neo Geo CD. Same with the Sega Master System and the Genesis there. I'm a little bummed out that those don't fit on the shelf right. I'd love to have those out faced. And the person I bought it off of was a Canadian, and they were nice enough to put that brown packaging tape on. At least they could have done is use the clear stuff. Yeah, there is an old Game Boy in the case. That Nintendo action set is complete. Let's see here. This is a Commodore 64 drive. Up there's a... Well, behind the Commodore 64 drive there is a matching beige Commodore 64 with a couple modems on top. And I think that's all the stuff up here. Oh, no, there. Yeah, my 3D glasses for the Sega Master System are up there too. Forgot about those. There is the original Commodore 64. And just some games I jammed in there to fill in the shelf. Oh, this, by the way, is my retro computer shelf. So far represents all the retro computers I have. A TRS-80 Color Computer 2, and I swear. Alright, back over to here. Where was I? Oh yes, TRS-80 Color Computer 2. I don't actually have the cable for this tape drive, which I need to get because the Classic Game Hunter has sent me some games here for it. Oops, you can't see. Yeah, some cassette-based games. So now I'm motivated to get the cable for that so I can play those games. Thank you, Classic Game Hunter. Also, I love the chunky controllers for these. I mean, they look, well, chunky. Next, the Atari computers here. I gotta get out of the light. Atari 600XL, and just some Atari-related books and stuff. Or 600XL. Atari 800XL and disk drive. Down here is an Atari XEGS, or the Atari XE game system. It's essentially an Atari 65 XE with some limited compatibility issue things. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Down here we have TI-99As. I've got the silver brushed aluminum looking thing and the beige model, and I've got a TI-99 disk drive. This shelf here, for the time being, is where I jam all my handhelds. Well, not those kind of handhelds, those are Tiger, but my other handhelds that I'll show you in a second. And on the bottom here, I have an original Sony PlayStation and a PS1 on top of it. That is a CDI 220. I've got a PS2 with a PS2 Slim on top of it there. My TurboGrafx 16, which I was just fiddling with a little while ago. I'm getting ready to do a mod on that I'm going to record a video on. So that's why it's kind of sticking out off the shelf there. My Neo Geo CD, which I know I've said this a bunch of times, but I absolutely love these controllers. I love the clicky micro switches. I like the way it fits in my hand. Yeah, anyway, didn't mean to get off subject there. Yeah, Panasonic 3DO FZ1. And we get into my Sega stuff. I've got Sega Dreamcast there, Sega Sports Edition Dreamcast, and a Model 2 Sega Saturn. And this one has the mod chip installed, and I got a little action replay in there for import games. I'll move around the corner here. My Sega Genesis collection, Sega Genesis 3, Model 2 Genesis, and Sega CD. Here is a Model 1 Genesis and Sega CD with the 32X on top. Model 1 Genesis with the power base converter so I can play Master System games on here. Up top is a Master System 2 and a Sega Master System Model 1. And we'll move over here, staying on top. A couple of shelves with Nintendo stuff on it. I've got a Super Nintendo, Model 2 Super Nintendo, or the Junior, whatever you guys want to call it. Over here I've got my NES and on top of that my top loader. And move down below there, I've got one of my Nintendo 64s, and some of the games anyway. I stuck some of the games in there just to help fill out the shelf a little bit. My Virtual Boys. This is my box Jaguar and a Jaguar CD, which I got really cheap. It didn't work when I first got it, but I fiddled with it a little bit, and now it works. Some Jaguar games, some CD games. Down here we have my Atari 5200 with the awesome aftermarket controller, and Atari 7800, and then below that I've got a few of my Atari 2600s, 2600 Junior. This one here is a 6-switch Woody. This is a 4-switch Vader. Under these cords is my Coleco Gemini, and then down there you can see my Intellivision 2600 games. They don't fit anywhere else, so I just got them jammed down there. Moving this way, there's my X-Arcade tank stick and my TV. Well, you know what? A bit about televisions. I've heard lots of people say that you need to have a tube television for the shooting games, and that's true. You do need to have it for the shooting games. However, there's a better reason to have one of these televisions. These old game systems were designed to work with this kind of television, so it was designed so that it would look good, and the corners would be rounded and smoothed out by the poorer resolution. If you play it on a modern television, it doesn't get that smoothing effect that you get with the poorer resolution of these televisions. So these games look worse on modern televisions than they do on the old ones. So there you go. For those of you that only play these on modern high-def televisions, you might want to consider getting one of these because they look much better. Anyway, slight rant over. Some DVDs down there, mostly science fiction DVDs, stuff like that. Up here, I have a Magnavox Odyssey 2 and the voice module. Yeah, see? The voice. Actually, behind here, set this thing down. This game here, for those of you that are not familiar with them, is one of their master strategy games. They had 3 different ones. This is the only one that I really cared to have. Essentially what this is, it's a cross between like Dungeons and Dragons, a role-playing game. It's a cross between a role-playing game, a board game, and a video game. Very, very cool. You should definitely check it out if you ever get the opportunity. You can see there it has a game board. It has an overlay that goes on this keyboard here. And then you have somebody that would be like a dungeon master, somebody that helps guide people through it. Just really cool game. I've been trying to convince people that they need to come over and play it with me, but so far nobody has accepted. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play it when I do my retro game night here soon. Now that I've got the game room cleaned up at least a little bit, I should be able to do a game room, or game night. You know what I was trying to say. Down here, the Arcadia 2001. And yes, these do look a lot like the Intellivision controllers. One difference being, they have a joystick. And I gotta say, if the Intellivision controllers had a little joystick on it, it would be so much better. I mean, it's a crappy design, but if you had the joystick, I think it'd be better. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Arcadia 2001. Hey, look at that. I never noticed. Ha ha ha. I have never done this before. Look at that. They come out. Very interesting. Oh, we'll fix that later. RCA Studio 2 is a really crappy video game system. And I don't recommend that anybody buys it unless you get it dirt cheap like I did. Then, well, even then I would consider not buying it if I was you. Down here I've got my Model 2 Channel F, which I have that one out because I don't have a box for it. So I leave the Model 1 up here and put the Model 2 down here. Also, the Model 2 is a little smaller, so it fits better on the shelf. This is my Bally computer system. That's the Astrocade. This is the computer system. They're essentially the exact same thing. They just look slightly different. At least, I don't know of any other differences. Down here I have my ColecoVision with the excellent roller controller, the Atari 2600 expansion module, and some games tucked in back there with it. My Sears version, Super Video Arcade and Television thing. Some of my loose games. Oh, there's some more Nintendo 64 loose games, because, well, there was space there. And on the bottom here, one of my favorite systems in the entire collection, the Vectrex. Sadly, I don't have a huge Vectrex game collection. All I have is the multi-cart. But yeah, one day, if I ever see games in the wild, of course I'll buy them. But for now, this will have to do. It came with the system, so I guess I really can't complain. Now, I have down here, you'll notice the Milton Bradley Vectrex controller on there. This is not a Milton Bradley Vectrex. It is a GCE Vectrex, and later I picked up a couple extra controllers, the GCE versions. And this is the one that I fixed, and now of course the glue is coming loose, so the corners are peeling up again. I'm thinking about doing a custom overlay for that. Haven't decided yet, since that one is pretty much ruined. Is that it? Oh no, I've got handhelds to do yet. Almost sat on them. Alright, handhelds. See if I can do this without getting in the light here. 2 Atari Lynxes, a Model 1 and a Model 2. I actually like the size and shape of the Model 2 better. This one here is like a cricket bat. The thing is just huge. I don't have small hands, and you can see that that's a big system. There is a Sega Game Gear, and I put this out here because it was in the bag with it, but it's a Gear Master Sega Master System converter. Great. I love being able to play Sega Master System games on my Game Gear. Alright, Sega Nomad, a Turbo Express, Neo Geo Pocket Color, the Gamecom I picked up here not too long ago. This is one of the Game Boy Advances I picked up real cheap. I have this thing on it, which I found for $1. Honestly, I bought it just because it raises the height of the controls, and it fits my hand better that way, so that's why that thing is on there. This is the other one that I found cheap. Let's see here, an original Game Boy, the only Game Boy Color I have, and it's got that weird sort of raised control on it too. Now there's actually more to this, but that's the only piece that I use on this. Game Boy Advance SP, and my Milton Bradley Microvision in pretty good shape, complete with a box. Very cool thing. And I think that that's it. I don't think I'm going to show you anything else. Oh, well, you know what? I can show you. Here, there's another one of my hiding places. I built this table here out of an old Olympia Tools crate, and I just slapped a hunk of pine on top of it. Or pine plywood, anyway. And the other day, when I was chucking stuff, I just started throwing it in here. So there's a couple of Laserdisc players. This is a Commodore 64 that I gotta ship out to somebody once we figure out how they want me to ship it. And there's like a Dreamcast and a Nintendo 64 and like 2 other systems in there. There's some loose games, tons of crap. So yeah, another one of my hiding places. That's it, guys. That is my game room in a nutshell. There you go. This is where I go to play games, and it has been a very long time since it has been even remotely this clean. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask. If you want to know more about any of the systems I have, please feel free to ask. You know what? If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.